Hi, welcome. This is Barry Ansell. I'm here to talk contracts with you. I head up the contracts team at Harrington Starr Recruitment, and a lot of questions come my way about what are the benefits of being a contractor. So I'm here to talk through some of those benefits to you. Now, if you're like me, and you're interested in trying to get a good career out of what you do while still getting paid a fair wage, in fact maybe slightly better than a fair wage, contracting could really be the thing that you're looking for, because on average contractors are getting 40% more than their perm counterpart. So that's a big reason of why people go contracting, extra pay. But it's not the only reason. It's not the main reason that a lot of people want to talk to me about. One of the key factors outside of being paid well as a contractor that people are interested in are the types of projects they're working on. So not always do you get to pick the type of project you're working on when you're in a permanent position. The types of things that you get are your business as usual, things that are coming to the fore, some projects that are coming up. But what if those projects don't excite you that much? There's not a lot you can do other than move company, and that can be a little bit laborious. It's not always as easy to do in a permanent world as it is as a contractor. So contractors can pick the type of work that they go with, they can pick the type of company, and they can pick the type of technology as well. So as they go through their career, they actually build up a better catalogue of solutions that they can provide to their clients or the end user or their, the new company that they're going to work for. So that goes back to the original point of they get paid a bit more because they're a little bit more versatile. They've covered more of the technology, more of the projects, more of the industry that clients are looking for, but they've stayed relevant with that scope of work. So we're not talking about a project that's 5-6 years old that is something a new company's trying to do and the technology's moved forward. We're talking about they've done it in their last 1 and 2 projects. So therefore they get a lot of value as a client, bring that in. So, okay, we cover that's the pay. That's maybe some of the project work and what you get to pick. What else is good about being a contractor? Well, you get to really decide how you work. Are you going to be remote? Are you going to be freelance? Are you going to work 9 to 5 in the office all the time? And what about when you want to take a little bit of a break? Very difficult when you're in permanent employment to think, I'd like to go and spend a month helping my son or daughter with their studies, maybe if they're coming up to exam period. Maybe they're going to be going traveling and you want to join them with it. Maybe there's something in the family life that means that you need to take care of somebody, whether that's a friend, family, pet, something of that nature. Whilst companies do support a little bit of time away and some sabbatical, with a contract work, you can complete your work, come to the end of that project and say, I'm going to take a couple of months off now. So you actually get a lot more flexibility when it comes to working life as a contractor. And in the same way as we spoke about earlier, if you would like to work 1 day a week in the office, you get to pick those type of projects. If you'd like to work in financial services, you get to pick those type of clients. So the flexibility of a contract is much greater than it ever used to be. And through the movement in furlough and lockdown of the COVID period, companies have got a lot more used to hiring niche talent for projects. And so what we're finding more and more is that people that used to be permanent employees have now picked up contract skills that make them really employable in the contract world. In the past, contractors were kind of a separate breed. They were very specific to a niche vertical, either technology or maybe sector. That's not the case as much anymore. The last 3 or 4 years have really had companies invest in their people, get those people to be really talented at what they do, and now what you're finding is other companies that are out there that need those projects fulfilled will be really willing to take on board somebody who's been a permanent employee most of their life but has acted like a contractor in the last 3 or 4 years. That might be you. You might be feeling like you're the type of person that has those type of skills and you're constantly updating and renewing your skill set. It might be that you're more of a contractor than you believe. And then when we look at how often people are moving jobs and career paths, it's come down quite a lot. The tenure time of people, a job for life is not something that you hear too often anymore. And when we talk to hiring managers, anybody that's worked for longer than 2 years or in and around that 2-year period is considered a good employee, someone they would like to talk to, whether that's contract or perm. If you last more than a year as a contractor, then people really have a lot of respect for the work you've done. They have the belief and the trust that you're going to be able to come in, hit the ground running and deliver solutions that they're willing to pay extra for. Which brings us back to that point. If you're a contractor, you'll often get paid more. So outside of the pay, outside of the flexibility, outside of maybe being able to pick your own projects, what else is there that you might see as a benefit as a contractor? Well, one of the ones that I find with people that are in maybe middle management careers around why contracting's right for them and what the benefit of it is, they are no longer having to do annual reviews of their staff, of themselves. Things that can be quite time consuming, cover quite a lot of red tape, and at times maybe become a little bit political. What they're doing is coming in, providing solutions, delivering results that ultimately they can be proud of, and they can put on their tech sheet or their progress chart, their career path that says, this is what I can do, this is where I'm going. And I think it's quite an underrated part of contracting that your career path can grow quicker because you're going into the right projects, you're working with the right people, and you're staying most relevant within the market. And almost every time we do a survey on what people are looking for in their job, it is a level of security, it is a career progression, and financial stability. I dare say that contracting gives you more of that, because who wouldn't want to hire someone that's got the best skills, who's been able to deliver projects multiple times to good clients? Who wouldn't want to bring somebody in who's very well skilled and knows how to do what you're looking to do already? That's the kind of expertise that you pay for, and it's the kind of expertise that companies are really striving hard to keep within the business. So do you get more stability as a contractor? There are people out there that will tell you absolutely that is the case. We've had contractors that have had contracts rolling for 3, 4, 5, even 8 years, and it's of their choosing. They don't have to stay in that position unless it's given them the things that they want. And that can vary person to person, so the benefits may be different for you to somebody else. But if the things that we're talking about here, career progression, good projects, better pay, working with the right people, working with the right clients, sound like the types of things that you're interested in, then maybe you should start considering contract as an option for you in your next employment gig. So let's revisit the subject of pay. With permanent work, often you come to a ceiling. You can't necessarily get paid more than your peers to the left and right of you. There might be a cap on a non-director role. With contracting, that's not the case. You are assessed on your skill versus what they need you to do. And so it's often coming out of an exco budget rather than the salary budget. So it's a lot easier to justify, and companies are therefore paying you the correct pay rather than just what everybody around you should be doing. That gives you a lot more power for negotiation when it comes to how much you should get paid. It also gives you an option to be able to move sideways or even backwards if you wish. Very difficult to say within your current employment, I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but I'd like to take it a little easier. I've spent 20, 25 years, maybe less, really grinding to get to the position I want. I now enjoy that level just below where I'm at, where I can be really effective, do the things that I enjoy, that I've spent many years perfecting, and not have to worry about my career growth, my progression, becoming a manager, taking on additional duties. Maybe you've put a nest egg away through contracting that means you're quite happy to come 10% down on salary to get a better work-life balance, to be able to have that type of easy work that you know how to do, that everyone thinks you're an expert at and can't do without you. You wouldn't necessarily get that as a permanent employee. You might have to move company to be able to find a company that does that. And more often than not, you'll hear you're too qualified for this position. They're really good, but I think they'll get bored doing this role. As a contractor, you go in and show them why you can do it, you stay there and you do really well. So you've got more flexibility to pick what you want to work and how you want to work it. So with there being no fixed ceiling to the money that you can earn, as opposed to having a salary that's capped by your peers, your boss, a role that you want to go and get, but you need your boss to move on to be able to get it. You can't move departments because politically it's not something that companies like to do. Contractors get all of that flexibility. They get the flexibility to work from home much more often. They get that flexibility to be able to have time off when they need it. Want to have 2 months off over the summer? Great. Someone that likes to go skiing in the winter? No problem at all. You get so much more flexibility. And there are other benefits when it comes to contracting around your tax and the way in which you get compensated. So set up in the right way, you can be quite tax efficient and actually earn more from the same amount of money. So if you were earning £100,000 a year, let's say, as a PAYE employee, you've got your national insurance and you've got your income tax that you're going to pay. As a contractor, depending on whether you're inside or outside R35, and we can cover that in another video, you'll find that you can actually take home more pay for the same amount to the company, which if you were a company and you could hire 2 people, one cost you less, but you got a better person, you can see why they often go with contractors. An often overlooked part of being a contractor is that you're effectively your own brand. The work that you do gets noticed by people. You get referred to people. People want to hire you because they know of you and your brand. And so it's quite a powerful thing to be able to put, good logos or good company names on your CV that said you have delivered this project, you have saved this amount of money, you have enabled them to do this project. And then be able to turn up somewhere else and say, this is me, this is what I can do for you, as opposed to often a company's looking at what they can offer you as an employee. So, as I say, quite often overlooked that you're building effectively your own company brand by being a contractor. And we see later on in some people's contracting career, and it can be as short as 2 years into it, that they end up setting their own consultancies up and building their own business. And so rather than being somebody that's getting employed to do a job, you're now winning business, you're now trying to solve company problems for them and getting known for being that person or that company, that brand within the market that people can go to. So you combine all of those things together and you ask yourself, why haven't I started thinking about contracting sooner? Well, I think now might be a great time for you to reach out and have a conversation with me, because there's more and more people going into the contract world. The IR35 piece of contracting has made it a lot simpler for people who don't want to have a limited company, who don't want to have the hassle of setting up lots of difficult accounting, let's say. They can just go into it. You get paid very similar to the way that you would as if you were an employee, but you get paid significantly more. You pick the right projects, you build your own brand, which can eventually turn you into a company. And through all of this, you get to have a great time, work with really good people, and be in the industry that you love. What about job security? I hear some people ask me. It's actually a bit of a myth that being a contractor comes with less job security. Most people move jobs now at a frequent pace. If you're looking to employ someone who has high talent, a high deliverable, a track record of being excellent at what they do, regardless of whether you're in a permanent or a contract position, those are the types of people that get hired. The difference is contractors are doing it in every role that they go to, as opposed to the 1 or 2 projects a year or every 2 years that a permanent employment can bring you. So would you rather have somebody who's an expert who can do the job and maybe has had a couple of weeks out to go and sun themselves somewhere, or get someone who's bored in their current job as a permanent employment and feels like they could offer something more elsewhere, but they haven't got the track record to prove it. So in some ways, yes, having permanent employment feels like it's secure as a job, but most of the time you have the same 1 month notice period as anybody in a contract does, and yet you're at the behest of maybe some company reports, a bad quarter, maybe a project gets turned down because of a budget. Well, if that was the case and you were to get told that you may need to find a new project as a contractor, you've got the skills and expertise to be able to find the next project. As a permanent employee, it's quite a bit trickier, and trying to explain to people why now is the right time for you to move on as a permanent employee, as opposed to I did a really good job of completing a successful task and now I'm looking to do the same for you, has a slightly more compelling reach to people who are trying to make that employment. So there we have it. Lots and lots of reasons why being a contractor is a great benefit to you, your career, your bank account, and to the people who want to employ you. So if you're interested in being a contractor and you'd like to know a little bit more, stay tuned for additional episodes and feel free to reach out to me, Barry Ansell at Harrington Starr. We've been talking contracts.